What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm taking a look at the sneaker releases for the second half of May 2020 and I'm letting you know what I think about each one of these sneakers and whether I think each one is going to sit on shelves or sell out. Obviously over the last couple months things have been a little bit weird and because of that releases have been pushed back, releases that I was personally very excited about and some other releases which I didn't really care about but made things kind of interesting. And as a result over the last month or so things have been a little bit slow, at least in sneaker releases and I guess actually just in the world in general. But honestly things are really starting to look up for the end of May. In fact, we've got so many good releases dropping that actually most of the shoes in today's video are sells. And that's also kind of crazy because that doesn't usually happen on normal months, let alone months that we're just stuck inside. So because of that, I'm very excited about today's video and I'm also very excited about a lot of upcoming releases and hopefully I can grab some of them early so I can give you guys early reviews, but we'll just have to wait and see. Things have been difficult when it comes to getting sneakers recently. But with all that said, let me stop wasting your time and let's jump right into the video. Starting things off on May 14th, we've got the Jordan Delta SP in Vachetta Tan. This is an interesting new lifestyle sneaker from Jordan brand and one that actually incorporates a full-length 3-act midsole, which obviously makes it a very comfortable sneaker. I really like the fact that over the last couple years, Jordan brand has been trying to introduce brand new lifestyle specific silhouettes. I think that's a good direction for them to take. And I think so far, a lot of the shoes that they've been releasing have been pretty solid. They might not be game changers, but they're definitely pretty solid sneakers. And I really do think that the Jordan Delta SP is a pretty great sneaker overall. It's comfortable, it's good looking, and I think in this Vachetta Tan colorway, it actually looks even better than the original drop. All that said, I don't know if that's enough to make people actually buy the sneaker. Well, I think it's a good sneaker and I think people like it, I just don't know if it's hyped enough. And not only that, but on a side note, they're also calling the shoe the Vachetta Tan, which it's just not. It's Vachetta Tan is a leather. It's not leather at all. It's just a tan sneaker. Just call it the tan. Jordan Delta SP, I don't know. It's not a big deal. It just kind of bugs me for some reason. Overall, it's a good sneaker, not a great sneaker, and for that reason, I think it's gonna sit. And then moving on to May 15th, we've got the Nike KD13 Home Team. This is a pretty decent looking KD13. It's got a white upper with a black grid, and it's also got this sort of tie-dye, or I guess color explosion on the outsole. I mean, the KD13 is a pretty solid sneaker. It's a good on-court performer, but is it anything special, at least in this colorway? Probably not, and because of that, I think this shoe is gonna sit. After that, we've got the Nike Air Presto South Korea. Apparently this shoe was supposed to drop in honor of the Olympics, but because they got pushed back to 2021, this shoe is just kind of releasing as a Korean themed sneaker. The white tiger print upper is apparently inspired by one of South Korea's uniforms for the Olympics. One of my favorite details in the shoe is the midfoot cage that fades from red on the lateral side to blue on the medial side. And then on the heel, underneath the TPU, you've got the South Korean flag. While this shoe is a little bit too busy for me, I do know a lot of people who are stoked on this sneaker, and I actually think Nike did a pretty great job with it. And so because of that, I think this shoe's gonna sell. Next up, we've got the Nike Air Max 90 in duck camo and neon green. This shoe is pretty similar to the infrared Air Max 90 that dropped around Air Max Day, except this time around it changes out the infrared for more of a neon green. The color of the camo has also changed a little bit, but overall the design is pretty similar. I think it's a pretty decent looking sneaker. I still prefer the infrared version that released earlier this year, and actually, while we're talking about things we prefer, I definitely prefer the Atmos version that released couple years ago, but overall I do think it's probably going to be a limited sneaker, and because of that I think it's going to sell. After that, we've got the Air Jordan Women's OG in University Blue. Ever since this model retroed at the beginning of the year, it looks like Jordan brand is going to consistently bring out colorways for this sneaker, and I think that's a good thing because it's a pretty popular silhouette. Obviously, this release comes with the UNC theme with primarily white leather upper and UNC blue hits on the outsole and on the sock liner. I think overall it's a pretty decent looking shoe, and based on the popularity of the first release earlier this year, I think this shoe is probably going to sell out. And then rounding off the 15th, we've got the Adidas Yeezy Quantum Basketball. On my last sit or sell video, I said that the lifestyle version of this shoe was also re-releasing. I was wrong about that. I don't know where I got that information, but that was just not true at all. It looks like on May 15th, we are only getting the performance basketball version of this shoe, which we haven't actually gotten yet. Even though the basketball version of the Quantums looked very similar to the lifestyle version, there are a few minor differences. The first is that there isn't as much 3M on the shoe because apparently this shoe was banned from the NBA because of the amount of 3M used. The other major difference is that there's now a TPU midfoot cage on the shoe, which should actually contain your foot a little bit better, and it should give you a little bit more stability. But other than that, from what I can tell, this is still pretty much the same shoe. And like the original Yeezy Quantums, this shoe will definitely sell out. And then moving on to May 16th, we've got the Nike LeBron Low in the bone colorway. I talked about this shoe a lot in sit or sell videos. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I overlap days one too many times or for whatever reason this shoe gets pushed back. I have no idea why. I don't understand why I keep talking about it because it's kind of a boring shoe. It's kind of just a light cream LeBron 17 Low. That's all there really is to it. It's not a bad looking shoe. I think the cream color or bone color goes really well with the gold that they also use on the sneaker, but at the end of the day, it's still LeBron 17 low, and because of that, I think it's gonna sit. After that, we've got another LeBron with the Nike LeBron 7 Media Day. This shoe is a LeBron 7 Retro except in the Lakers colorway, which I actually think looks pretty good. Each side of the pair comes in an alternating colorway. You've got gold on one side and purple on the other side. This shoe is really giving a lot of Laker fans and LeBron fans something to be very excited about because it's a really clean looking sneaker. I have no idea what the stock numbers are for this shoe, but I really do think that this shoe is going to be limited. So even though some of the previous LeBron 7 Retros haven't sold out, I think this one will. And then rounding off the 16th, we've got the Adidas Yeezy 500 High Tyrian. This is sort of a brownish purple Yeezy 500 High, and to be honest with you, it's a weird colorway. The midsole and outsole of the shoe come in a dark gray, and then the upper is the brown and the purple. I'm not exactly sure what the meaning behind the colorway is or why these particular colors were chosen, but I'm interested to see it in person or see it in pictures, because right now we've only ever seen renderings, and usually Yeezys look pretty different than the renderings. I actually really love the Yeezy 500 High Slates that came out at the end of last year, and as much as I like the silhouette, this colorway doesn't do it for me. But here's where things get interesting. Usually I would say that this sneaker wouldn't sell out because if you looked at the Slates from last year, which in my opinion were a better colorway, they didn't sell out. But because we're all in quarantine and everything's releasing online, it gives more people the option to buy these sneakers, and at the end of the day, they are Yeezys, and people are kind of fiending for Yeezys. So even though I think this is one of the weaker 500 colorways, I do think that there is a chance that these shoes might actually sell out. Then on May 17th, we've got a retro of the Adidas Ultra Boost 1.0 in the core white colorway. When Ultra Boosts were huge, this was one of the most coveted Ultra Boosts ever. This shoe was so popular and most people weren't able to grab it. Some of you may remember, but this was actually the shoe that Kanye wore in that iconic concert photo when he was wearing a pair of Ultra Boosts, and because of that, this shoe was one of the most popular Ultra Boosts. I remember one day I was on my lunch break, and so I went to the Roosevelt Field Mall just to walk around and grab lunch, and I went to Champ Sports and they had a pair, so I bought it. And I wore it twice and then sold it thinking, I'll find another one. Nope. It's a dope shoe, I love it, and I really regret selling it, and I definitely will be going for this pair for myself. It's a great looking sneaker, it comes in the triple white colorway, and of course it's got that 1.0 Prime Knit pattern, which back when Ultra Boosts were hot was really, really coveted. Even though Ultra Boost hype has died down pretty significantly, I still think there's enough people out there who are nostalgic about this sneaker, even though it was only like 4 or 5 years ago that this shoe first released, and because of that, I do think this shoe will probably sell out. Moving on to May 20th, we've got the Nike Adapt Auto Max in the pure platinum colorway. A very similar colorway to this shoe released a couple months ago, and even though it was a $400 sneaker, it's probably the closest thing most of us will ever get to wearing one of the Marty McFly Air Mags. The upper of the shoe looks so much like a pair of Nike Mags, it's crazy, and I think that's the main appeal of this sneaker. But for whatever reason, Nike decided to make the outsole of this shoe bright red and 4 inches tall for some reason. I don't know why they did that, that kind of sucks. Not only that, but the shoe is $400. I get that it's auto lacing, but we've had Nike auto lacing sneakers for cheaper, and they actually allow you to play basketball. This one, I mean, it looks like you're wearing heels, let's be honest. I shouldn't hate on the shoe. I don't think it's a bad shoe, it's just not for me. And if I do have the chance to grab a pair, I will probably do that just because I want to review it, I want to try it out. Even though I don't think this colorway will be as popular as the first colorway, I still think people are pretty hyped on this shoe, and for that reason, I think it's going to sell. And then rounding off May 20th, we've got the Air Jordan 4 Metallic Pack. This pack comes in 4 different colorways, however each one of the colorways are very similar because they all share a white Air Jordan 4 base. The only real difference between each colorway are the metallic accents on the shoe, and the colorways that the shoe comes in are purple, orange, green, and red. Apparently the inspiration behind this pack are the metallic Air Jordan 1s, which also released in the same 4 colorways. Now something that I just found out about this pack, which I actually kind of suspected, is that these colorways are only releasing in certain regions. In the United States, I believe we're getting the purple colorway. The red colorway, which I think is the most popular, is releasing maybe in Europe, I'm not 100% sure, and I have no idea where the green and orange colorways are releasing. Not only that, but because this pack is a regional release, I bet you this pack is also going to be pretty limited. So if you were hoping to grab all 4 colorways, Jordan Brand just made it a lot harder for you. And of course, because it's a limited regional release, this pack is definitely going to sell out. Following that up on May 21st, we've got the Nike Air Foamposite in Blue Void and Rugged Orange. I don't like it. I don't need it. Does anybody like it or need it? I don't know. This shoe's gonna sit. Next though, we've got a sneaker that I'm very excited for, and that's the Nike Dunk Low in the Brazil colorway. I am so glad Dunks are coming back because I finally have a chance to grab them because I'm not in high school and I'm not broke. And this Brazil colorway is fire, and I know a lot of people are going to be stoked on it. Also, to clarify, this is just a Nike Dunk Low, not a Nike Dunk SB. One of the easiest ways to tell the difference is whether the shoe has a fat tongue or a thin tongue. The fat tongues are on the SBs because the SBs are skateboarding shoes, hence the name SB. The thicker tongue is there for padding, and the regular pairs don't have them because they just don't need them. I am very excited about this pair. I know I'm going to go for it and strike out and have to pay resale, but I think it's worth it. And as you probably guessed, this shoe is definitely going to sell out. Next up, on May 22nd, we've got the Nike PG4 Bread. This is pretty much your standard PG4. It's nothing special. It's coming in a black and red colorway, hence the name Bread, which is black and red kind of mushed together if you didn't know. It's nice. It's fine. It's PG4. Also, I can't imagine performance basketball sneakers doing that well right now because no one can play basketball. So for that reason and others, I think this shoe is going to sit. Then on May 29th, we finally got the release of the Travis Scott Nike Air Max 270 Reacts. I've talked about this shoe a bunch, whether that's on live streams or on Sitter Sells, but it finally looks like this shoe is dropping on the 29th. We finally have a date, even though the shoe has been rumored and leaked for months. This shoe is weird for me because there's so much about it that I don't like, but there's also something about it that I do like. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just like succumbing to the hype, but I don't know, that colorway is kind of nice. I don't really like the way the 270 React feels on foot. I also don't like the crappy midsole paint job, which comes off in the rain. I'm not kidding about that, it really does. I also don't like some of the detailing on the sneaker. I feel like some of it's just a little bit too much. However, the colorway is nice, and I think overall it's a decent looking sneaker. But at the end of the day, whether I like the sneaker or not, it's a Travis Scott Nike collaboration, and anything that Travis touches sells instantly. So because of that, this shoe is definitely going to sell out. And then moving on to the last day of the month, May 30th, we've got the highly anticipated release of the Air Jordan 13 Flint. Man, people have been wanting this shoe to retro for years. In fact, it's been leaked that this shoe is going to retro for the last 2 years, and it looks like finally we're getting it. The shoe features a navy blue nylon upper accented with 3M, as well as a white leather upper and a Flint suede midsole. And apparently this 2020 retro is going to be as true to the OG as possible, which a lot of people are excited about. This is really one of the most popular Air Jordan 13 colorways of all time, and if you don't have a pair of 13s and you've been looking to grab a pair, this is the one to grab. Because the Flint 13s are so iconic and so popular, and because so many people have been wanting them for so long, this shoe is definitely going to sell out. And then rounding off the month strong, we've got the Adidas Yeezy 350 V2 in the Zion colorway. This shoe is essentially just another pair of 350 V2s, however, the colorway is pretty interesting. The upper of the shoe comes in tonal brown prime knit with a dark brown stripe running down the lateral side. And what's interesting is that the midsole of the shoe actually comes in a lighter color than the rest of the upper, which for some reason doesn't happen a lot with Yeezys. It's honestly a unique look when it comes to Yeezys, and while it's not exactly my thing, and while I don't really feel like I need a pair personally, I know a lot of people are excited about this shoe, and at the end of the day, it is still a Yeezy 350 V2, and because of that, it's probably going to sell. But now I would love to know your thoughts on these releases and which shoes you're looking forward to most, so let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.